Hey everyone! As always, forgetting to unmute myself. We're back for another Qweerty Q&A. I am your host, Chandler Poling, the Vice President of Qweerty Gamers. I'm really excited to bring you two incredible guests. I'm new to streaming, as some of you probably know or have met me through Qweerty Gamers, so I'm excited to have two veteran streamers with me. One's an affiliate, one's a partner. Both are incredible LGBTQ gamers. So please help me welcome Asikaa and Paacreek. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, you two.
Yeah, happy
Thanks
to
for
be here.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to be tossing some questions your way, interacting with chat. So if you guys have any questions for these guys, please shout them out. We're getting all sorts of hype and love. And thank you so much for the follow, Jason Blue 82. All right, here we go. Guys, tell me, how did you get involved in streaming? Why are you streaming today? Like what brings you to the platform?
I started streaming because I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and I found that a lot of people like didn't know what they were doing, so that we'd like bring them to stuff, and they would just be completely lost, and they'd have no clue. So I was like, oh, how do all these like people put their YouTube videos together? So figured it out and started streaming for my guild. And then yeah, from there, like I had to take a short break for a while, and then just kind of started to get into it like for a social thing because none of my friends played video games at the time, but I had a lot of these like online friends, and I'm like, we're freaking hilarious. So why can't we just like, start streaming and kind of see where it goes? And that was 5 years ago. Here we are now.
Yeah. And Paacreek?
You had a good one, Asikaa. Mine's boring. So mine was basically I was just on my Xbox One, like going through the store, and I saw that they had like broadcast going on. I didn't know what it was, so I like clicked on it and saw somebody streaming their game and like commenting on it, and I was like, I could do that. So I started doing it on my Xbox, and it was like the most basic setup where I was just sitting on my bedroom floor with the Kinect pointing at me and playing games badly. But then it evolved over into YouTube gaming ended up launching out. So I went over from Twitch to YouTube, and then I'm back here on Twitch now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm new to streaming, so I see terms like I'm a variety streamer or I'm an RPG streamer. What kind of streamers are you guys? What kind of brand are you bringing to the platform?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at myself more as a personality streamer. So like people just really, I mean, people feel debated by me all the time because they're like, I thought you were a WoW streamer, but now you're playing Call of Duty and you're playing Valorant and you're playing this weird sandbox game that I've never heard of. I just honestly, a lot of times I wake up in the morning, it's like I feel like playing this today. And I'll just like play this, or I'll be in the Steam store and I'm like, what the hell is this? And we'll buy it and play it. So really just I focus to develop my community around like my personality, I guess, of like, being fun, comedy and just that kind of stuff rather than a game. But definitely, you have to be really careful with variety because you can really you can be over variety. So I try to balance it out with a little bit of consistency so people know what to expect, which I would say probably is FPS for me. But then I kind of throw the WoW in for the RPG element, and and then all the crazy games that kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Paacreek?
So I honestly don't know what kind of streamer I am at this point. I was variety when I got back into Twitch about 2 months ago, and now I'm kind of just focusing on WoW because I have a podcast about it. So figured I can kill two birds with one stone and get into the WoW content, so I have something to talk about on the podcast. But I used to be variety when I was on YouTube. I did a lot of Overwatch, ton of Call of Duty, and a lot of FPS, but I kind of moved out of that, so I'm more of just a WoW streamer sellout now.
Now, a question already from the chat is, what's the longest stream you've ever hosted or you've ever done?
I did like 24 hours and 10 minutes one time. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
That was tough to get. I'm 32, so it's a little bit hard to get to get those late nights now.
Yeah.
I'm a wimp. I did like I think maybe 12 hours with Missildine Online. He's in the chat. We played Overwatch for like 12 hours when it came out. So I think that's about the longest that I've ever done.
And what makes you do a 24-hour or 12-hour stream? Like what is the goals of that, or what is the purpose of all that?
Usually for me, it's either charity or I'm doing like a subathon, just to like, you know, end of the month, I'll like, I need to make a little more money. Let's see if we can, you know, get the last little bit we need here. And I'll just put like little goals and stuff, kind of help get through, or like, you know, we'll do like I have a bunch of them coming out this week. So I'm doing like a Just Dance stream this week because people love watching me dance horribly. And I did like Twitch Sings, and I'm going to play a scary game on Thursday. So just put these little goals together, and then really it's just like, can I do it? And it took me 2 tries. I did a 23-hour stream, a 22-hour stream, and then a 24. So it took a couple attempts.
How do you get so close to 24 and not reach the end?
Trust me, so the first one, it was back pain. My back just started killing me. And I just like, and then I started getting in my head, because I thought for the longest time, I'm like I had a plan based, like, this is what games I'm going to play, but I can't touch like shooters after a certain point. Like it's not possible. So the second time, like I had a timer and the timer just ran out. So I'm like, screw you guys, I'm going to bed. And then the third time, I just started playing Call of Duty, and I was like playing. I'm like, man, I could keep playing, but we have movie night tonight, so I guess I'll take a nap. But yeah, I definitely could have kept playing once I got going. So that I will keep in mind next time I plan one.
Yeah. What about you, Paacreek? Why stream for 12 hours? Like, what's the goal of that?
One more match.
I'm
gonna do one more match.
Oh, when Overwatch first came out, 100%. I was the same way.
And now I'm kind of like, if I log onto that game, I'm like, okay, one match, and we'll see how mad I get at it.
Yeah.
Now, as a new streamer, you know, you try to figure out how to navigate the platform, and those that might be in the chat that are curious, what would your advice be on amassing a following? Like how do you build your following and kind of keep consistent, and how do you manage your day so that you stream consistently?
I mean, this is my 3rd time having to build a following on a platform, because I was on Twitch previously and then moved to Mixer and then moved back and started a new account. So, I mean, when I originally started, it was just a whole lot of like, I mean, you have to offer something at the end of the day. So like for me, you know, I looked at Twitch and I would float to different channels, and I just found like, you know, I never really like fit in. It was like, you know, a lot of homophobia, a lot of homophobic comments, and just like really offensive language. And like for the longest time, it's just a whole lot of like dude man bro streamers who were just like, yeah, we're gonna go like pulling some noobs, and it just like didn't fit for me. So I kind of found my streamers that I like to watch. I mean, obviously, like I loved watching Tim the Tap Man, and a couple other people, but I couldn't find the community where I really felt like it was like, yeah, this is my place, this is my people. So that was kind of another reason why I got into streaming too. And I just try to like, I mean, obviously you have set up boundaries with people. You can't be, hey, welcome to my home, come on in. But, people want a friendly face. They want a friendly space where they can be themselves. They obviously want to, there's got to be something in it for them at the end of the day. I mean, you can do it with flashy giveaways if you want. That costs a lot of money. But really at the end of the day, you just have to get your stream on and just like slowly, like literally for me, the first time on Twitch, I killed my friend in a game. And I was like, oh, hey, you're streaming? And I like went over to her stream and I'm like, oh, I killed you. And then like we started playing together, and then his people started following me and my people started following him. And then like my other friends started watching. So it's honestly a little bit of luck at times, but it's also just tenacity. Like you got to push through. Like I went through a period of time where I went 3 months without a single follow, like regulars coming in, nobody knew coming. And if they did, they didn't follow and they didn't stick around. So that was like pretty like mentally, like it really hit me hard, but I pushed through it. And eventually the first month back when I started getting follows again, I was averaging like 120. So you know, it's just having that tenacity to push through the slow times. And you know, I had 82,000 followers on Mixer, and that's all gone now. You know what I mean? So having to come back and start again, it's just been like, you know, it's another mental like kick in the stomach. But you just have to, you know, you have to let go and just move forward and just try to keep positive about it.
Yeah. What about you, Patrick?
Um, so originally, like when I started doing YouTube, I was kind of like, I'm gonna treat this as much like a job, even on top of working a full-time job. And I think that was the worst thing for me, was because I wanted to make a career out of it. And like I had that goal in mind that like if I don't have, you know, this many subs by this day, or this many likes on this video, or X amount of, you know, if I don't get a subscribe button, or a member button, or a sponsorship button, if I don't get any of that, then I've kind of failed. And so coming back to it now, I kind of I treat it a little bit more like it's just a hobby. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then you know, it is what it is. But that's kind of what I, you know, what I've learned about streaming for myself. um and then in terms of like building a community, it's just always, you know, creating an open door environment for people, and letting them, you know that you're there, you're a voice that wants, or you're an ear that wants to hear them, you want to interact with them, and you want to chat with your audience.
And now I know Asikaa does this full time. What is going to make you jump ship from your, 9 to 5 job, so to speak, and become a full-time streamer? Like, what would it take?
I'd basically have to be pulling like Asmongold numbers in order to do something like that.
Yeah. And what made you decide to stream full-time, Asikaa? Like, what was the deciding factor where you're like, this is what I'm dedicating my life to?
I mean, I got really into streaming. Like I had a job. Like I went to college, I got my bachelor's degree. I, you know, worked in community recreation. And then so I worked I did 10 years. I worked in skateboarding, and I did like children and youth programs. I did a like my bachelor's degree was in recreation therapy, so I worked in the mental health system as well. And like once people kind of found out I got into streaming, like that's when all my problems at work started.
Hmm.
And you know, like people would be like, "Well, you know, you're tired because, you know, XYZ you stayed up late playing video games." And it's like, "Well, no, I went to bed at 10." So don't really see
Right.
how like that's a problem. So, but if I stayed up playing watching TV, that was okay. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of you know, just getting a lot of just that kind of stuff happening. And it was like making it really hard to go to work every day, where it's like, you know, this is something that I'm really passionate about, but I find that like, you know, your 9 to 5 job doesn't care if you want to be an entrepreneur. Because I've always had been pretty successful in finding fun ways and fun things to do, you know, to get tips. You know, back in the day we did like shot night, and those were kind of a mess, but you know, it was funny, ha ha ha. And then I stopped doing those and, you know, started selling merch. And you know, I was lucky and got partnered on Mixer. So I, you know, because I left Twitch before the affiliate program came out, so I never had
Mhm.
even experienced that. So went over there and got, you know, got the sub button, and I was able to start pulling in the revenue I needed. And I just kind of like looked at it all, and I'm like, why am I working this crappy job? I'm like, even if like we only last 3 months, like screw it, I'll just get another job. So I
Yeah.
just kind of took the risk, and then I would have been laid off now. Like most of my friends at my old job are all laid off. A few people are working again. So like I'm like a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And it's in this situation, it just seemed to be the right choice. And I think there comes a time where you just have to tell yourself, because it's not an easy industry, you know, like having your feet pulled out from under you, your platform closing down on you. I would have never guessed that that would happen last year. I had some inklings that it was coming, but like no way did I ever think that I would be on Twitch again. And yeah, it just happened. And again, like it all just happened as it should have, apparently. And maybe in 6 months from now I'll need to get a job, who knows? But I definitely am very happy that I took the jump, because it's so worth it. You have to be creative, and you have to have like you have to be mentally really strong, because you know there's times where you're like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it this month, and you just kind of you got to get creative and make a plan. And it is definitely not for everybody though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think you have to have a true passion
Mhm.
for, well, one, being on camera and being a personality, and then two,
Mhm.
playing games. Like you have to think about that because you are an entertainer, so to speak. You know, you are entertaining people by playing a game, and you're also entertaining people by interacting with them. So you do have to have that strong personality and ability to be personable with people. We have a question from the chat. This is from Missildine Online. What are your current goals with streaming? Where do you want it to go for you?
Thank you, Paacreek, to answer this one first.
I'm gonna have to refuse that question because it's from my best friend. No, for me right now, I don't really have any like long-term goals with it. It's really just to kind of grow the channel and kind of see where it goes. I think I'm right now like just passionate enough to where like it's not going to consume every fiber of my being. Um, but I eventually, like, I guess long term, I really just like to lean into it a little bit more, like part-time or full-time. And kind of have it replace my job. I work in customer service right now, and that's not the funnest thing, especially during COVID times. People tend to be a little bit more entitled about their electronic devices, and so uh so it kind of it's kind of taken a toll on me mentally, and I'm kind of leaning into streaming a little bit more. So I'd like to get it out of that job, or get out of that job, and move it into a career, turn it into potentially a full-time career, or even get into the gaming industry somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think for me, I mean, I kind of got full time and I'm like, I don't know what to do after, you know? So it's just really at the end of the day, I mean, just becoming a better, I think, professional in the gaming industry. Like, you make a lot of mistakes as you kind of come up as a streamer, and just like, I think I've learned so much just about like interactions with people. It's hard when like, when you work for a company, like the product is the company that, or the product is the brand. But like when you're a streamer, you're the brand. So if you have a bad interaction with a viewer, or there's like, it's weird. It's like, it's literally like my old job working in community recreation, because I'm doing so much community engagement. I'm like planning events, I'm planning activities through the stream, but I'm like playing video games. Like it's really, really complex when you actually think and look at streaming, what you're actually doing when you run it. So really at the end of the day, like my goal right now is just, from coming from Mixer now, like I just want to rebuild my community. I have so many amazing, amazing people in my community that I just want to, continue my relationship with them, make it stronger, and then just continue building up my community now. And by next year, I'm really hoping that, you know, I don't look at my sub count, I don't look at my viewers. Obviously, those things make us successful, but at the end of the day, like the interactions that I have with people is really kind of what I'm working towards, and just, getting my name out there, uh, and just meeting people really. So like meeting you guys with Qweerty and everything. Like, I mean, that was like one of the steps of those goals, of being connected with people. Because it can be very, very lonely in the streaming world. So, having people who have your back, and, that it can be around, and be positive influences on you too, I think is just really great. And I just want to, I just want to get my feet on the ground again. That's kind of my goal right now.
Well, speaking of community, obviously, if anybody's watching this right now and wants to follow Qweerty Gamers, we'd appreciate if you tap that follow heart, please. Now, before I get into my next topic, I just want to address that there's somebody, Qweerty Gamers, called me out because you mentioned Shot Night, and they said me, Torin LA, on Twitch knows all about Shot Nights. I hosted we were streaming for Qweerty Gamers a couple weekends ago, and for their fundraiser, and I was doing shots for $25, and it helped them raise $400. So I will say the gimmick works.
It does. It really does.
Now, because we're on, we're part of an LGBTQ organization. Asikaa, you kind of touched upon this, and I'm curious about your interactions, Paacreek. But have you encountered any sort of negativity or positivity of being an out kind of LGBTQIA plus gamer?
Oh yeah, people come in on the chat all the time. They're like, "You're gay." Yes, I am.
And
It's like, that's not an insult, right? When somebody's actually gay.
right.
I mean, when I first was on Twitch, it's funny because like my experience on Twitch now is so different than my experience back then. Because like I had a person that would bot raid me every Saturday. Like this kid had no life. Every Saturday it would be like 100 accounts. It'd be like faggot kill yourself 1, faggot kill yourself 2, faggot kill yourself 3, and it would just like fill up the chat, and then the guy would donate. And it would just kind of come out of the woodwork. So that was like that's really just been my worst experience. Eventually though, we learned a lot about Twitch and its settings and how to combat all that stuff. So, at the end of the day, like people come in and they're going to say stuff to you regardless. And if you can just take away the words of what they're saying about you, you just got to remember like this person is probably going around to Twitch and just going into everybody's stream, and they're saying whatever they can say that they think is going to hurt you or hurt the streamer. And once I started realizing that, it's like they're the problem. They're the person that's hurting, and they're the person that's upset. So like once I kind of figured that out, and it really was highlighted when I was dealing with that original person, because like on Mixer, if somebody came in and said something that it was against TOS, their account was suspended in like 2 seconds. Twitch, we don't have that, that luxury here. Like the support system isn't as I don't know what the problem is, why they can't do it, but whatever. So I have just a really I keep my mod team very small, but I feel like really connected with them, and like they know obviously what's good and what's bad and how to engage with people. And there's times where we've turned people, also like misunderstandings too, because like people like to come in and say, what pronouns do you use? And there's a lot of times where it's to the point where it's been used negatively to me so many times, where I was like constantly on the defense when people used it, when I realized, oh, some people are just trying to be polite and they're trying to ask. So once I kind of put those walls down myself, like my interpretation of who was a troll and who wasn't actually changed a little bit. And we also were able to just like kind of switch some people also who were like, yeah, I just go into streams to say stupid stuff to see how you react. Like, well, why do you do that? Like, because you want to see if we're cool? Like, if you hang around for a second, I'm pretty sure you'll figure that out without having to insult me first. And it's just weird strategies that people use. And also because they don't know, a lot of people don't know how to interact with other people. You think that they do, but they really don't. So at the end of the day, whenever that stuff happens, like I just try my best to, I mean, sometimes I just absolutely roast them, but if it depends how sassy I'm feeling. But if I'm like not with it, like it's just straight up, like I'll just deadpan their comment and just we move on, ban them, time them out, whatever. Yeah, no point wasting energy on them.
Absolutely. What about you, Paacreek? Any experiences, positive or negative?
So I can't really speak to YouTube because I haven't used their platform in about like 3 years, but when I was going through that whole like venture, when I'd get some of the larger streamers streams, I was like, I'd say Call of Duty or like Overwatch if it was a launch. I'd get a lot of the trolls and a lot of people, because YouTube's a whole different monster than Twitch. Like you don't really need an email to create an account. You can just create an extra channel and they can keep creating channels all they want. So I'd get people like during the election that would make like fake Donald Trump meme accounts, and they'd come in and try and either fake spread hate or whatnot. But I got to the point where I had like almost like the entire dictionary blacklisted for my chat, so that stuff like that wouldn't get sent through. I had to actually one time I had to copy and paste the entire script of the whatever the latest Star Wars movie was as like a mod command, because I had somebody that was coming in and they were spoiling the movie for everybody before it was even out. So that YouTube was a little bit more like yeah, it wasn't the greatest experience, but it wasn't anything that would, discourage me. This time around on Twitch, because they have better moderation tools, I think it's a lot different for me. I haven't really experienced that, but I'm also the kind of type where I'm like really petty and I kind of just go after the people, and it doesn't really bother me either way. I could still, roast somebody and then go back to what I'm doing and have it be no skin off my back. So
I'm going to grab a question from the chat. This is from Warpath Dylan. Hi, Dylan. Asikaa and Paacreek, are those references that are lost on some people, or can you explain your handles and what they stand for?
I love explaining my handle. So back when I played World of Warcraft, I had a character name that my hardcore raiding guild didn't like. They're like, every time I logged on, everyone would get like uncomfortable. And I can tell you the name if you want to know it.
Of course I want to know it.
Okay. So first of all, I'll start by telling where the name came from. So I was watching the Silver Surfer movie, and it was like Silver Surfer's planet. I don't know. I'm not into that stuff, so please correct me. But his like planet was coming to swallow Earth or something. I don't know. It was coming to destroy Earth, and it was like in space. I think they were in space, and it was coming for Earth. And I'm like, that kind of looks like an angry vagina. Like, Vaginor. I figured out my World of Warcraft character name, because like the whole week I'm sitting there trying to figure out what my name, and I'm like, I need a really, really good name. So I'm like, Vaginor. So I like logged on and made it, and played my WoW career, and then they're like, you need to change your name. So they're like, I hosted like an in-game or in-guild contest to pick my new name, because I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm not creative. So it was originally Asikaa, Asika with a single A, and then which means sneaky or stealthy in Sanskrit, because I play a rogue. And so I had to add the second A when I had to server transfer at one point. And then when I made my first Twitch account, it was to stream WoW. So I was Asikaa, so everybody can find me. I'm not gonna make up some weird Twitch name, right, to like not be findable. So yeah, just added the second A because I thought it looked good, and here we are today.
That works.
Mine's another boring one. It was some girls in high school that used to just call me that, just as like a fake like pet name, I guess. Because my real name's Patrick, so they'd call me Paacreek. And that just stuck with it. I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna get called a name that I don't really like all that much, I think I'm just going to adopt it myself and make it into something that I like. And they spelled it with one A, so I added an extra A, so it had some kind of like rhythm to it with the double A's and the double E's, but that's really it.
Another question from chat from California girl Chris. What company would you be jumping off the walls should they approach you for a sponsorship?
Ooh, I feel like I always have an answer ready for this, and now I'm like blanking. But I mean, obviously, I would love to work with like any of the games I love. Like working with World of Warcraft, I feel like would be really great. I was talking about this the other day, actually. Nike, I'm a big Nike fan, so if they want to like come and make me some shoes, that'd be pretty dope. But honestly, what I'm really hurting for, I haven't got the opportunity to work with like a computer company like Nvidia, Intel, or AMD, or anybody. So that would obviously be something I'd be really passionate about as well.
Yeah, and for me, definitely Blizzard. If they ever approach me for anything, I'd always be down, no matter what it is, really. And I think like NZXT, any kind of anything that really like chat can benefit from more than like me. I mean, obviously, sponsorships benefit the creator completely, but anything that's really like of value to chat or to my community, I think that would be pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, speaking of chat, I'm going to catch up with a little bit of our chat because we've been so in depth. But a couple thank yous to Cookalicious TV for your follow, and Tigerman60. They've asked us to hydrate. So if you guys have any water, please drink it down. So welcome to these new followers. I don't know what streamer does an emote because I'm new to this stuff. So I don't know how you do an emote. So I'll let whoever redeemed that explain themselves a little bit. Next question from Cloud Girl 78. Has becoming a streamer impacted you in any negative ways, and how are you overcoming that?
Whew, many ways. I don't know. I mean, like, I was in a relationship previous. I was married, and I didn't stream when we met. So when I was in college, I quit video games. Basically, I knew I wouldn't be successful if I played. So I came out of college and then met my ex-wife, and wasn't playing games. And then we kind of moved into our own apartment, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna set my computer up again. And then she didn't realize how into games I was, but like she was like really supportive. And then I started streaming and she was really supportive. But then like I started to get really, really into it. And then like, you know, I didn't want to go out as much, and I didn't want to go and do stuff as much. And like really, really took a toll. And even like on my current relationship at times, like it can get really frustrating. Like for her, if she wants to go out, like previously she didn't have her license. So anything she wanted to do out like far away, I would have to drive, which would then create tension like for me, where it's like, well, I want to stream. But I mean, there's so much like good that comes from it too. I mean, among the like weight gain from sitting in this chair all the time, and like not really eating any, like I very rarely eat anything not on camera or like at a table properly. So that stuff you don't realize like how those like little things kind of mess with you, where it's just like I literally eat all my food like this at my desk still streaming. You know, and it can take a toll on you to like have time to like eat slowly and have conversations with people. And you know, I do not wear a bib. That is not true. But also too, like, you know, I've lost a lot of friendships too, like, you know, but at the end of the day, like it kind of just shows you like who the real ones are. Because like, you know, I don't know, it's just weird. Like my friends like didn't want me to play video games, and trying to articulate to them like how much I love video games, the stories, and like if you watch me play anything like World of Warcraft or whatever, like I will bawl my eyes out at cinematics. And like it's a connection for us. And like trying to articulate that to people who don't understand is like really, really difficult. So, and like obviously, like, you know, I wish I could have maintained some of those friendships and relationships, but you know, it is what it is. And I went my way, and I think I'm pretty happy with the choices that I made.
Good. What about you, Paacreek?
So negatives, burnout can be a frequent one for me. Especially with games. When I was on YouTube, actually, like I make it a point now that when I'm not streaming to try and at least get like an hour in of a game that I like playing. And this like on YouTube, it got to the point where I'd shut my computer off and that was it. I'd go like watch movies or do something else, and I was only playing games when I was streaming. So now I've made it a point to really just kind of give myself time to play games that I want. I'm actually kind of lucky but unlucky in a way, because my PC can't handle streaming a whole lot of the games that I want to play, like Marvel's Avengers. I was excited to stream that, and found out I couldn't stream it, so I got to play that entirely off stream, experience it for myself. So just kind of you know, burnout. And then I mean, it's not so much anymore, but sometimes you get that like feeling. Like I used to be the kind of person where I'd watch my viewer number and see that and kind of measure my self-worth in it and be like, okay, well, there's literally nobody here chatting, like what's wrong with me? And you kind of have to, you know, take that and say there's not anything wrong with you. There's so many different factors as to why somebody couldn't be responding in chat. They might be playing a game themselves, they might just be lurking, they might be sitting there. So it's really just, yeah.
Now, I just want to say that I've been now called out that we have to do a dance, or I have to do a dance because of this channel point thing. Will you guys do a dab with me?
A dab? Okay, I can.
A dab?
A dab?
You know. Isn't it a dab? Yeah, exactly. All right, let's do it all on 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom.
That's right. The first time that I've ever dabbed on the internet. And that's the last time.
No, we got it. We got it.
I usually don't dab for free,
exclusive.
so y'all are welcome.
I've never done it before. I don't even know if I did it right, but I assume. Welcome, Buttergin. Thank you so much for the follow. There is so many questions that I want to get to, but I love how chat is so interactive. One question from Ray Teens, from Ray, our president, is: has COVID affected your streaming life at all?
I don't know. I mean, people are home a little bit more. That's really kind of it. I mean, it has been tough, like bottom line wise. You know, people don't have as much money to sub or to gift subs and gift bits and whatever. So that's kind of been tough. Some of my friends, like, they lost their jobs. They don't even have internet right now. So we're like, they're coming in on their like data using their phones. But like, I mean, my girlfriend's an essential worker, so you know, she's at work all day. So really, like, that's the only risk, is like I might get COVID because she goes to work and gets it. Like, I've actually been the problem where, because I would go to the dog park and like I'd be like, my throat hurts, and her boss would be like, you have to go get a test. So I would have to go get COVID tested to prove I don't have COVID so she can go back to work. So that's really all that I've had.
I'm just giving you all the boring answers. It if anything, it kind of got me back into streaming.
That's important.
Yeah, I'd say that is. We had a COVID scare like at the beginning of all of this, and so that kind of I used to I work from home just in general, like before COVID too. I do customer service from home. And in my case, I actually wouldn't work at the house that I'm currently living at. I'd drive out to my mom's and work there because it was a quieter environment and no screaming kids or anything. But since we had the COVID scare, I actually had to go move all my equipment over here and do all of that. So so it's kept me here. I don't have as much of a commute. It was normally like about a 45-minute commute round trip each day. So now I don't really have that.
Wait, but they want to hear about your podcast.
Oh, okay. So we've got It's Always Sunny in Stormwind. We call it the podcast covering everything under the Blizzard sun. It's hosted by myself, Missildine Online, who's in chat, and then Mr. Miles TV. And it's a general Blizzard podcast. Right now, we're pretty much all World of Warcraft because that's where all the news is coming from. So it's pretty much Shadowlands this, Shadowlands that, and Afterlife's reactions and everything going on with that. But it's really just I don't want to say a dumb podcast, but we're all really dumb. So it's just the three of us just kind of being dumb together, talking about everything for what's going on with the latest Blizzard news.
Are you excited for BlizzCon? What's something that you're looking forward to that you think might happen?
Yeah, the BlizzCon Online, they just announced yesterday. So that one I'm pretty excited for. I was bummed out that they canceled BlizzCon because this would have been my third year going, and we probably would have gone in like a media capacity this time. So I would have been able to experience it a completely different way. But right now it's Shadowlands is coming out next month, and we have the pre-patch that's supposed to be coming out next week. And so it's scurrying around the game right now, trying to figure out, you know, what I need to wrap up before it goes away permanently and all of that good stuff.
Asikaa, what about you? Are you excited for BlizzCon?
Oh yeah, I mean, we went last year. I've only gone twice now. So we went last year, and last year was like the best BlizzCon I could have ever dreamed of. I think I was like bawling like the entire time. It was so amazing. It was actually, and it was my first BlizzCon as media as well. And I don't think I could go back not being media. It'd be really, really weird. It's definitely a really great experience. So I hope you get that next year, Paacreek.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
But yeah, no, definitely. You guys should. You should. One of the amazing things I think that will be cool about this though is they've had a little bit more time, because like in my eyes, I'm sitting here going, how is Blizzard gonna top it? Because, you know, BlizzCon last year was freaking amazing. So I'm hoping this year, with giving it a little bit more time, about, I guess, what, like 3 months extra or so, maybe they'll actually have some concrete dates for us, maybe with some stuff. So who knows?
What's a game that you haven't streamed yet, but that is on your list?
Ooh. Green Hell. That's one on my list.
What's that? Tell us
It's
about it.
It's a survival game, co-op survival in the Amazon jungle. And yeah, you can like build your little base and basically you just have to survive. And it's apparently quite brutal. There's like wound care and there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, it sounds pretty intense. But so like me and my girlfriend like to play like DayZ. We actually met, she watched my stream on Mixer and we played a lot. We both played H1Z1. So we kind of met through that game. So we both kind of like the like survival games. So we played a lot of DayZ, and yeah, we love it. So really looking forward to playing that together.
So you met your girlfriend through gaming, through streaming,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you guys been together?
We are going into our 4th year, so it'll be 4 years in April.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, love through gaming.
Yep.
Paacreek, tell me about what game you're looking forward to. What's on your list to play and stream?
So fingers crossed that my PC can handle Cyberpunk because it looks insane. If not, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, even though I'm not really big on streaming it. So Resident Evil 8 Village, I'm really excited for next year. And I'm trying to think of what else has come out. Shadowlands for World of Warcraft, as usual. Like, I haven't been disappointed with World of Warcraft yet, so I can't really say that.
Neither have I. I've never been disappointed.
Exactly.
People are weird.
It's Battle for Azeroth was honestly like one of my favorite patches. It got me back into the game and it had a really good story. So I'm really excited to play more World of Warcraft, get into the new content and experience that with my chat and talk about it on the podcast too.
And what's your favorite thing about streaming? What's like the thing that really gets you jazzed to kind of get in your seat, get online?
I just love when we have like something really fun planned. Just like if it's a community event or like doing stuff like this and just talking and meeting new people. I love going to events. Live events are the best. Going to PAX or going to BlizzCon and just getting to meet people. I have a lot of people who come up to me and tell me that they watch my stream all the time. And I'm like, who are you? And they tell me their name. And I'm like, I don't know who you are still. It's kind of like, I enjoy spectating and people watching quite a bit at those things and just seeing how people behave and how people act around you. It's kind of really, I don't know. It's like my enjoyment for the year because I never go out. But yeah, no, I just really love the social aspect of it. And finally in my life, being around people who like video games. Like, I can't tell you how amazing it feels.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Live events are definitely my favorite. It's like BlizzCon, they always have that saying, it's welcome home. And it really is home for, all of the Blizzard gamers there, everybody that plays WoW or Diablo, Overwatch, anything. It's just like a really kind of like homey environment and getting to meet people that you've been playing games with online or that you've met through streaming and all of that. So the live events, but I mean, one of my favorite things is just connecting with people and getting to know, the person behind the screen name or the person behind the profile picture, getting an insight into who they are.
Awesome. Well, I've been to PAX myself, and I go to GDC and a number of video game, events, but unfortunately, they're all canceled. So I hope that they all come back and we're all able to go and meet and hang out. I'd love to meet you guys in person eventually. That'd be awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join me. I really appreciate you guys kind of sharing your insight and opinions on kind of what it's like to be a streamer, whether you're full-time or part-time, partner or affiliate. There's so many levels to enjoy the stream, and we're so glad that you're part of the Qweerty family. So thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll sign it off. Everybody who is in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, let's definitely raid someone, Ray. Pick your poison. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.